Alright, so I'm going to show how to replace the screen on this Lenovo Ideapad L340-15API. Alright, so first what we're going to want to do is get a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver and remove all the screws from the bottom. So there's one here, another one here. Keep the screws in order, you don't want to get them all mixed up. It's always a good idea to put back the same screw where you got it. I like to put them on my table in the same layout that I take them out, so that way I know where they came from. Alright. Whatever trick works for you, just try and do that so you can keep them in order. Okay. All these screws appear to be the same, but I always like to put the same screws back where I got them, just because sometimes it looks the same and then you end up putting the wrong screws in the wrong spot. So it's always a good idea to try and keep them in order. Okay. Alright, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 screws. It's now like 2 a.m. or something. Still working on computers. Been super busy today. Alright, after you get all those screws, this one screw holds the CD drive in place. You can usually pull the CD drive out after removing that screw just by kind of wobbling it like that. If you have a problem removing it that way, you'll want to get like a needle or a small paper clip and then bend it so that it's straight like this. And then there's a little hole here, and you can actually wiggle it around in there, and that will release the CD drive. So if you have no power and you're trying to get the CD out, that's how you would do it as well. And then pull this all the way out, then you can see these rails, and usually if I can't get it out the other way, I'll use these rails to pull it out. Okay, so there we go. We got the CD drive out. Set that aside. There's no screws under here, so that's good. Makes it a little bit easier. After removing the screws, you want to be careful when opening and closing the screen, because now these screws used to hold the hinge. They're no longer holding the hinges. Okay. So anyways, what you want to do, let's see here. So there's a gap here on the side. There's a very thin divide between the palm rest and this base cover. So what you want to do is get your fingernails or pry tool in there and then pry that up. So usually what I do is I get my fingernails in there and then I use my thumbs to push on the bottom while I kind of pull this back with my fingernails. Alright, so just like that. And that's how I pry the covers off. So a lot of people complain about my long nails, but it makes doing this so much easier. Okay, right now my nails are actually shorter than usual that I need them for this, but they get the job done still. Okay, go around, same thing, go all the way along the side. Be careful with the side with the CD drive slot, because this thing is a lot thinner, the plastic. So I kind of have to like pull it out while I'm kind of prying it, just to try and prevent it from breaking itself. Alright, and then I'll go around the back too if I can. So most of these things I kind of just figure it out as I go. If it doesn't come out, then I try and see if I can kind of wiggle it around like this, and there we go. Here you can see it comes off just like that. Okay, so just go around the front and the sides, and then you can wiggle and pull the cover off. Okay, I still got 2 more computers to go, or another computer to go after this. But here you can see there's the battery, hard drive. Looks like the hard drive, I guess I can show this. So the battery, they actually have a warranty sticker on this to prevent you from pulling the actual battery out. So I'm going to leave it in place, but it looks like once you remove the screws, there's 2 here, 2 here, and then 1 up there. Then you can actually lift the battery out. Is there a model? Model number of this battery is here, L340-15API. So if you need that, I don't know if you can read it or not. There you go. Okay, so whenever I replace the screen, I always disconnect the battery first. So This one's going to be a little difficult because this warranty sticker. I'm going to see if I can do it without removing the warranty sticker, but I'm probably going to have to remove the warranty sticker. Let's see if I can remove it without tearing it. So usually what you do is you kind of get underneath. Let's see if we can. I don't know if it's probably going to tear, but I'm going to get underneath here, try and lift it carefully, peel it slowly. Oh, there we go. So we got it. It's safe. So I'll set that aside. Okay, all right. So now we're going to remove the screws for the battery. So there's one screw here. You want to be careful not to drop anything here because the battery's connected and then it can damage the board. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it looks like there's a slot here for an M.2 SSD. I don't know if it's for PCIe NVMe or just SATA SSDs. That you'll have to kind of Google, see if anyone has the answer. If somebody knows the answer, feel free to post it in the comments below, but I don't know. But if you post it, I'll just heart your comment so other people can find it. Anyways, here's the battery connector. To remove this, usually what I do is while I'm kind of lifting this, I push down on this and kind of pull it, slide it over with my finger while I kind of wiggle it. That's usually how I'll remove that, and there you can see it comes out very easily. Some people are like, oh, don't wiggle the connector, you'll break it, but you don't like wiggle it like a lot, you just kind of very slightly. You can also like try and push on this little part here that it kind of extends up, so like the tool will get caught on it, but I always find that wiggling it very slightly works a lot better. So here you can see the speaker here. Well, actually, now that I removed the battery, let me show you what you should do next. After removing the battery, you should always open up the computer and then press and hold the power button. And I don't know if you can see the cracks in the screen, but there's like black splotches and there's a whole line going up here. But anyways, hold the power button for about 10 to 15 seconds after removing the battery. I actually don't need to take anything else out to remove the screen, but I'm just going to show some components here because it looks like this one's pretty simple. So there's 2 screws here for the hard drive. So just remove those 2 screws. Okay. I'm not going to remove all the connectors. If you kind of want to see how to remove the other connectors, I have videos for that in I guess my other videos will kind of show that. So I lift the bottom side here up, and then this plastic here, hopefully it will hold that connector in place. So you kind of just wiggle the hard drive while you pull it, and yep, there we go. So we got the hard drive out. This is a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can put a 2.5-inch SATA SSD, but there's also this slot here, so I would recommend using this as a data hard drive maybe, and then having this, putting this SSD, yeah. So there's 4 screws that hold this little foily thing in place, but yeah, other than that, I'm going to put this back. Okay, should be able to figure out how to remove that, so I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to put these screws back before I forget. Right, and there's the speaker cable here. You just thread it underneath here, and you can actually replace the speakers. They're not held in with any screws, just these little rubber things. You can just pull the speakers up. They do have little things that kind of wrap over the rubber, so it makes it a little harder to get out. But yeah, other than that, it's pretty simple. Right, then there's the wireless card here. There's just one screw. It'll pop up at an angle. You can pull it out. If you want to see how to remove the antennas, make sure to watch my other videos because that's a little risky, so I don't want to just pull them out if I don't have to. Alright, so we got the sticks of RAM here, so just get underneath this metal plate. I use my fingernail, or you can use a plastic pry tool, and then just lift this cover up just like that and pull it up. Alright, looks like there's only one slot here that you can change, and then there's soldered RAM in there. This is PC4-2666V, very common, 4 gig stick. I believe you can get up to a 16 gig stick, though most people don't need more than 8 gigs. So unless you're having an issue with it all of a sudden slowing down as you open more tabs, you don't need more RAM. Usually when you run out of RAM, it'll start using the hard drive to run everything, and when that happens, your computer will get like all of a sudden it'll be super slow. So you'll know if you run out of RAM. And this thing, it looks like I don't know why they put indentations here. I don't know if that's so you can grab it easier or something, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. Anyways, make sure the metal cover lines up with the little clips that hold it in place. It goes in between those clips, okay? CPU and GPU are soldered to the board. You can't upgrade it. Everyone keeps asking that in almost every video, so just keep that in mind. Almost every laptop, you can't upgrade the CPU unless they have like replacement boards where you can just buy a board with a better CPU, but at that point you'd be better off buying a new computer. And then to remove all these latches, you just flip these things up. I'm not going to do it, but well, I guess I'll flip one up and just keep the cable there. But you flip this up and then you can pull the cables out. They come out pretty easily. Put the cable back in and then flip it back down, and that holds it in place. Alright, there's the CMOS battery here. It looks like you can actually pull the connector out. You kind of have to like wiggle it, but putting a new one back, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to line it up and then use something to push it back in. Alright, so that's pretty much all there is to this model. The fan also looks like it's probably easy to remove. There's one screw there. I don't know if it might be trapped underneath this, so you might have to remove the heatsink. But usually you don't need to remove the fan unless it's making some weird noise and you need to redo the grease. Usually I just use an air blower or an electric one and do that. I'll also use a toothbrush to clean it out. But yeah, anyways, we're going to replace the screen now. Hopefully nothing falls out on this thing because I'm going to open it up and then lay the thing flat. So that's why I have this pink thing, which is an anti-static kind of material, so it helps prevent static from building up. Alright, so I don't know how I'm going to show this. So for the screen, what you want to do, let's see how I can do this. Maybe I can turn it this way. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier, I guess. So usually what I do is I'll lift the inside lip and then kind of push the thing towards the center. But this one, you can actually just pull up on the thing and it will undo the clips, okay? If your screen is okay, you kind of want to avoid doing this because when you pull it up like this, you kind of, your knuckles kind of push into the screen and there is some risk that you can damage the screen. I mean, it's not too bad as long as you know what you're doing, but there's some slight risk, and yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, you might end up breaking your screen. Alright, so anyways, go around, the same thing, kind of just pry the front up. There is an adhesive along the bottom here, so it does make it more difficult to remove. If your screen's already broken, you don't really have to worry. Just go ahead and pull it up. Okay, so this bottom part is a little tricky. You kind of have to like wiggle it as you pull it, and that will undo the clips. Okay, same thing with the other side. It already came out, so no big deal. Alright, then we got the clip. Is there a clip here? I forget. Wait, do I have to actually remove the whole thing? I might actually have to remove the whole screen to get this one out. Let's see here. If I have to remove that hinge cover, then... Oh yeah, I'm going to have to remove that hinge cover. Okay, so we are going to have to remove the whole LCD assembly from the computer. So what you do, open up the screen, hang it off your desk like this, or your table. Okay, then we're going to remove the LCD or LVDS connector. Pop up that latch. Then you kind of have to lift this cable a little bit as you pull it because it has little wings that get caught. Okay, just like that. And this cable is also really short, so it's kind of, I don't know why they made it so short. Makes it tough to do. We're also, I guess, going to have to remove the wireless antennas. Okay, so just grab the tail end as close as you can to the connector and just pull it straight up, just like that. The gray one goes to the white triangle and the black one goes to the black triangle, so it's good. Sometimes they switch them around. Alright, so let's see. Cable came out. How do we get this around this thing? Okay, so I can't see it from my angle, but there's a little plastic thing that sticks out, so make sure to make it go around that. Alright, just like that. And you just thread it all around to remove it. Okay, not too difficult. Alright, hopefully you can see. Oops, I might be going out of view of the camera, I'm sorry. But there we go. Get that cable all the way undone. Okay, then we got to remove these hinge screws. There's two on each side. These two go towards these diagonal ones, and then these go on these. So keep that remember that, because you want to make sure you don't put the screw there, or when you put the cover back on, you're not going to be able to put the screws in. Okay, there we go. So remove those two, and then we'll remove these two. And be careful, try and hold up the screen, because you don't want too much pressure to be going to just one screw. Okay, and once you remove both, they have little plastic things that are kind of holding it, but you don't want to just let the screen drop, or it can sometimes snap those. So you kind of, now you can lift the screen out. Okay, and then you can lift this out, and then make sure to disconnect that LCD LVDS connector. I wonder if they put adhesive, because it's stuck in there. I think they put adhesive underneath, so I'm going to try and keep the board from moving, and then try and pull this. Yeah, this doesn't want to come out. So I think they have an adhesive going underneath this. That's going to make it tough. So you kind of have to pry underneath. I use this plastic tool. It works really well. There we go. And that's why it wasn't coming out. They put an adhesive on the bottom of this cable, which is kind of stupid, but whatever. I guess they want to make sure it doesn't come out, or just to make it harder to work on. Alright, so we'll set the keyboard and stuff aside. Again, make sure before removing this cable that you did press and hold down the power button. Okay, so let's see this piece. A lot of times you have to slide this thing over. Let's see how it comes out. This one. Yep, okay. So it slides over to the right like that, and then this pops off. Okay, so sorry it went out of view. When you put it back, you do have to slide it back to the starting on this side, and then you can slide it back over. It clicks in place. So that's actually a pretty strong clip. Usually I don't feel it click like that when you slide these kinds of things. Wow, it's holding on strong again. So let me try and slide that back over again. There we go. And then you can lift that out. Alright, now let's remove this again. Accidentally clip some of it back down. Go back around. Again, wiggle this around. There we go. So now we got the whole screen bezel off. That was a little bit more work than I was expecting to have to do. But yeah, alright. And then, did they really design? Okay, no. They used, how is the screen held in? Don't tell me they used an adhesive. Okay, so there are two screw mounts up here, but I don't think they even used that. Whoa, this thing's like curved. They really damaged this thing. Okay, so the screen, it pulls forward. I don't know if they used an adhesive towards the bottom. It feels like something's holding it down, which is really weird. What in the world? Oh, I see. Seriously? Okay, so this metal piece is underneath this, so I don't know how I'm going to separate these two pieces. I'm going to try and pull it and peel it, I guess. They basically merged this onto the hinge here, but I don't want to have to take out the hinge to remove this. That's a lot of extra work that I wasn't expecting. So what I'm going to do, let's see if I can get my thin pry tool between the hinge and the screen. It's probably going to crack a bunch more, but I'm going to just try and scrape it out just like this. Oops. Okay, and then I'm going to just slide my tool down, and hopefully I can cut the adhesive down. Go. I don't think there's an easy way to peel this adhesive out. Let's see here. Let's look behind. It is the stretchy type of adhesive, but I don't see a way that you can get to that, so that's really strange. I guess I'm just gonna cut it. I didn't want to have to, but seems like that's what I gotta do. Maybe after I got a little bit of it up. So this kind of adhesive, that if you can see it, that white kind of adhesive, it's a stretch adhesive that when you peel it, when you pull it out, it will actually release the adhesive. So I don't know if at the bottom on the back, if I take both hinges out, if I'll be able to pull a tab or something here. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I don't see a pull tab on there, so maybe I really don't want to, but just so you guys can see, I guess we'll give it a shot and see what's underneath. Alright, so take out that screw, and this screw. Alright. Oh, I'm not gonna get any sleep today. Alright, so now that we took that out, this whole thing should lift up, but there are these cables, of course, so I want to be careful. I'm just lifting it to see if there's a pull tab. And no. Oh wait, yeah, there is. Shoot. Are you kidding? I'm gonna have to, okay, I'm gonna take all the hinges out, I guess. Oh, that's gonna be a pain. Okay, fine. They built it the most difficult way. So let's get these screws, and then we'll take these screws out. Alright. Okay, so now we can lift this up. Make sure to guide the wires around. I don't know how I'm gonna unguide all these wires. I guess now that both are out, can I flip this forward? Oh, I can. Okay, that helps. So I'll tip this forward just like this, and then I can disconnect this cable here. I'm gonna have to try and hold this up somehow. There's a latch here, so you want to flip that up. It's like kind of like the MacBook cables, and then you can use this little latch that goes to pull that cable back just like that, and there we go. We got the screen disconnected and the hinges are disconnected from it. So okay, so now what we're gonna have to do is transfer the hinges from this onto the new one, but look, it's all curved, so that's not good. So now what we're gonna want to do is, I guess, bend this back flat. I wonder what they did, how they bent it so much. That's pretty bad. You don't want this to stay bent, because if you put the new screen and it's still bent, it's probably gonna end up cracking that new one. Okay, so we'll do that. Alright, so here you can see they have these little pull tabs. So what you do is you just peel this up. Ow. The little thing poked me. Okay, so grab that. And then you just pull this. So as you stretch this tab, it actually releases the adhesive. Okay, so just like this. And just pull it. If you can, you want to try and pull it straight back. I don't know why they use this kind of adhesive, because it's usually not really reusable, so it kind of sucks. Alright, I'm probably going to just put some other kind of adhesive there, something that's not so crazy strong. But yeah, if you want, if you saved some of it, if it stayed flat enough, you can like snip off the excess, so just the part that's still flat. So what I'll do is I'll cut that just like that. Okay, and if I can and don't accidentally wrap it all over itself, then I'll actually reuse that. And then yeah, so let's try and undo this. Nope, that all just tore. Okay, so go. So if you want, you can kind of like save some of this and try and reuse it. Oh, don't stick on yourself. Okay. So I'll just set that down. Usually I'll like hang it off like the edge of my desk or something. Okay. So I'll take this, make sure it's flat. It's still kind of bent quite a bit. So I'm gonna make sure it's pretty flat. Okay. That's pretty good. Just like that. Okay. Then same thing with the other side. You want to take that one out as well. So same thing, grab that, peel it up. Uh-oh, that little tab came out. I hate this kind of adhesive. It's kind of... Alright, grab that, peel it. Uh-oh. That's not good. See, when it tears like that, then you're in trouble. It's never going to come out. So let's see here. The front of the screen thingy attached to my... Let go. Okay. I guess I'll just peel that off, and it's probably going to tear up my thing. Okay. Put that back down. It tore it up a little bit, but whatever. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to get this out because it's stuck there now. I'm going to try with my little needle nose-ish pliers. Okay. But I think it's going to be stuck. Let's try with my tweezers because they're smaller. So, try and grab this. Okay, now I got a little bit. Hopefully I can pull it out without damaging it. Come on. There we go. Okay. So just pull this out, just like that. Usually once you stretch it a bunch, you want to go closer. I'm going to cut off this part that's all ruined. Okay, and then we'll go, oop. Stuff all fallen. Okay. Then we'll go closer, try and let that part drop, and then pull that. Alright. Getting closer to the end. Don't let it fold if you can help it. Then pull the rest. Okay, here we go. Oops, I made it get curled on itself. There we go. Alright, so you can try and save as much as you can. Stick that over there. So there's the broken screen. I don't know if you can see there, you can see the cracks. Alright, so we're gonna set that aside. Don't need that anymore. Then again, make sure this one is all flat. I need a better area that's I can make sure it's flat on because this is not so nice. Okay, you can tell it's all like messed up. Alright, so there we go. Now we take the replacement screen. Alright. Make sure you don't put it on top of anything that can crack it. There we go. Set it down like that. And we're going to basically put this back on there. Okay. So what you can do, you can take the adhesive that you saved if you saved it. Otherwise you can use any double stick adhesive. Just put that back in there on the side. Okay. Just like that. Kind of push it down a little bit. Make sure it goes down the side. Okay. It's kind of not going straight, so you kind of have to stretch it the way you want it to go. And then you can kind of just turn it this way, I guess. And cut the excess. Alright, it kind of bulges a little. Hopefully it won't cause any issues with the screen. There we go. And then just reattach this up here. You want to start with the top corner and then drop it down. Just like that. And then you can have this excess stuff just coming out here like that. Okay. It's not too thick. Actually, this metal piece is thicker, so it shouldn't be an issue. Do the same thing with the other one. You don't really need it going down the whole length of the screen. It's more just to keep it from moving around. So we're just going to do this. Okay. Alright, we'll turn this one over a little bit. Just like that. Same thing. Start with the top. Follow down the side and then press it in. There we go. Get that adhesive there. Okay, so there we go. We got the replacement screen in place. Now we'll take the back plate again. Take the screen. Okay, this one might be a little tricky because you got to plug this back in while you're doing this. It's harder to do it on camera. I'm probably gonna have to do it off screen, but just because the hinges are kind of in the way, so sorry about that. I'm gonna do that off screen, but you get the idea. Just slide the connector in. Let's see if I can actually even do this. It's kind of, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's kind of maybe this way. Oh, okay, that works. All right, will it work? I don't know. Get that connector out of the way. Maybe get these connectors all underneath the screen. That helps. Okay. And then get this connector if we can. Actually, let me see how this went again. So this goes on top like this, okay, and those connectors go like that, okay. That should be fine. Remember if this went out that way? I think it goes this way. Okay, so now hopefully I can somehow tilt this forward and then put that connector in, but that seems like it's going to be a pain. Oh, the thing's going to be in the way either way. You're not going to be able to see. So I'm going to unroute it a little bit from the thing so I have a little more slack. Okay, then I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing, but just guide it in. Use this little latch to kind of pull it. All right, just like this. All right. It's tough to do this while trying to get it in video. So there we go. And pull both sides in. There we go. Once you get it, you should be able to latch this metal thing back down. All right, flip this back over. Here we go. And get it in. Guide this wire back around those little notches and drop it in place. Go. Make sure you're not clamping down on the wires. There we go. Okay, looks good. Now we put back the 6 screws that we took out from the hinges. Sorry, I know this is a long process. All right, put back those 6 screws. Oh, that's right, there were screws up here. I took them out earlier, so I'm going to put those back as well. I took them out to check the model number of the screen earlier, so we'll put these 2 screws back up here. Sorry, they weren't in the video originally because I took them out when the customer brought it so I could check what screen to order. That's why they were left out. Alright, just like that. Make sure those screws are in as well. I was wondering why there were screw holes, and then I was like, oh yeah. Okay, so get that. Put back these 3 screws on this side. On these, it's actually a good idea to add thread locker. So I'm going to add some of this red thread locker because it holds really well. If these hinge screws come loose, they can actually cause damage. So I like to use the thread locker to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's clogged, so I have to poke a hole in it. Okay. So you just put a very tiny amount just to keep it from coming loose. I'm going to do that with all the screws. So I'm going to take these back out. All right. A lot of models, the hinge, especially like this kind where the hinge is like very thin sideways, when they come loose, it rips the plastic out that holds them in place. So it's always a good idea to put thread locker to make sure. They put blue thread locker, and a lot of times that stuff comes loose on its own. So I like to use the red one. I've worked on like so many computers and seen these break a lot, so I always like to add this. Okay. Just like that. Oh man, come on. on, screw. Stop flipping all over the place. I'm gonna trip the stuff on myself. Okay. There we go. And the last screw. Alright, just like that. Okay, we've got all the screws back in. Now we put this hinge cover thing back on top. Alright, if you're confused, the longer end goes towards the top. Oh, we actually have to put the hinge first. Or not the hinge, the bezel. So I'm going to peel this off. Hopefully the screen's okay, because otherwise I have to put this thing back on. It's going to be all bubbly. And then return the screen, but yeah, just peel this off. Okay. Alright, put the bezel back in place, just like that, and then you just make sure it's lined up and you can snap it back down. Usually you kind of want to go from the outer edge and roll inwards. Okay. Just like that. Alright, just like that. Make sure it's all snapped in. There we go. Everything is snapped into place. Right, get the long end. Again, start to the side. More to the side with the wireless antennas. Once you got that in, slide it over and it clips in place. You'll hear the click. Alright. Then we'll grab the whole computer setup and we'll put this back in place. Alright, hopefully the cables are on the right side. I don't remember if it needs to be on top or if it matters. I think it goes on the bottom here. Okay. Yeah, it goes on the bottom. There we go. Get that in place. This one you'll probably want to guide it in because of the adhesive thing. So let's guide this cable in first. Okay. Come on, go in. There we go. Make sure that cable goes in all the way, because if this cable isn't in properly and you try and start it up, you can actually destroy the motherboard. Alright, you can barely see the white line sticking out. There we go. Hold the screen in place. And then we put back the screws. We are going to add the red Loctite again. Or not Loctite, thread locker, sorry. Alright, so I'm going to put this one in and this one in just to hold the screen in place, and then I will fix the other ones after. So we're going to get the thread locker again. Okay. So you should see actually these screws already have red thread locker on it from the factory, so they know that that was an issue, so they start using the red thread locker too. Okay. Alright, tighten that down. There we go. Let's grab the other two. Normally this, now you can actually, once you get all 4 screws in, you can close it and then do this thread locker thing. But I already got it open and I'm kind of just trying to do it quicker, so. But yeah, normally you would close the screen so that the hinges aren't taking any stress while you're doing this, just in case you don't accidentally break those things. But okay, so now we got all of that. Let's close the screen. Alright, slowly, gently. There we go. Close this up. Alright, now let's guide the wireless antennas back in place. Just go around. Oh, actually, I should keep it this way. It's easier for me to see. Okay, just guide it back over. I don't know if I'm following the same path as before, but whatever. Okay, just like that. As long as the antennas reach in the end, should be okay. Get it back around there. Okay. And I'm guessing it goes this way, back through here. I'm gonna rotate it, make it a little bit easier for me now. Okay, go through here. I think before the black wire was on top, but yeah, it's okay. Okay, drop those in. Just follow that. There we go. Then go underneath this piece, up through this, and in between this little notch here. Come on, there we go. All right, there we go. So now we reattach the antennas. Gray one goes to the white triangle, the black one goes to the black triangle. Make sure you get it lined up before you press it down. Okay, you'll know it lines up because it actually gets caught on the thing. All right, and then you can push it down. There we go. So now we got the wireless antennas all back in. Now we just got to put the battery and then this cover and the CD drive and everything back in place, okay? So battery goes back in. Let's reconnect this. All right. Push over that. It's always good to squeeze the two connectors together if you can, instead of just pushing the connector over, because sometimes these solder joints aren't that strong and they'll rip off the board. Okay, so we got that. Now let's put back the battery screws. Just like this. All right. The battery screws actually also hold down the hard drive connector, so you actually can't remove the hard drive unless you remove the battery. I guess that's kind of a safety. Alright. Alright, so we got all the battery screws back in. We'll put back that little sticker. Not that it's needed for anything. Okay. Drop it back on top like that. Alright, and then we'll take this cover, put that back on, just like this. Should just be able to click it back in. We'll put these corners back in first because those came out last, so you want to do it in reverse. Right, and just push it, clip it all back in. There we go. Put in the CD drive. Okay, just like that. All right, now I'm gonna test it. I don't know if the battery's charged, and also sometimes when you open the computers, the computer requires you to plug it back in after removing the battery. So let's see. This light did come on, so it looks like it should be okay. Hopefully the screen will come up. Sometimes it takes a while the first time after changing a screen. Yep, there you go. And it looks good. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, like and subscribe. Help others find my videos. This was almost a complete disassembly minus removing the logic board from the computer. But yeah, so hopefully this video helped. I'm going to shut it down, put back the rest of the screws. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. If you want, you can watch me put back the screws. But yeah. Alright, shut it down already, and now we'll just put back these screws. Alright, here we go. Just like that. Make sure that they're nice and tight. If they're too loose, they'll slowly walk themselves out as the computer kind of vibrates or open as you open and close the screen. So make sure that the screws for the hinges at least are pretty tight. Okay, but it's kind of hard to say how tight to do it because you don't want to over tighten it too and then break the plastic that holds it together. Yeah. All right. There we go. So, go. Okay. It's going at an angle. Make sure you put it in at that angle. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Again, please like and subscribe. Hope others find my videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in another one. Bye.